And I know that folks in the room also have some stories about organizing around lifting up workers in these economies. Earlier today, Ai-jen was speaking on a panel and talked about the Good Work Code that just got launched yesterday. And I wonder if you'd like to share that with us.
We got a mic. We want to be able to hear you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. At the National Domestic Workers Alliance, we represent nannies, caregivers, and housekeepers around the country. And as we started to talk to more workers in the on-demand economy, we realized that they face many of the same challenges. Lack of stability, lack of predictability of hours and of work, and of access to a safety net. And so we worked with a lot of those workers and our members to develop what we call the Good Work Code, which is a set of 8 simple values for how to make the on-demand economy a really good place for the people who are working there. And we want to work together with companies and the workers and all the people in the workers' movement to actually move towards those shared values, because we think that there's a lot of promise that the on-demand economy can hold if we actually make sure that it's a great place for the people who work there. So the Good Work Code. And I would also say to Rochelle that I hope she joins an organization, because we need people to be organized and build this movement. Join a union or an organization.
Can I ask a follow-up question? And that is the Good Work Code that you develop. Obviously, that only works if you've got a couple of key industry leaders who sign up, and then you've got customers who are willing to put some pressure on others in the space and in the industry. And give me a sense of how that worked initially with nannies and daycare workers and so forth, and how, what were some of the biggest barriers to getting started and getting moving on that?
Well, one, we really needed to tap into networks and get the word out that we were organizing. And now technology actually enables, like through organizations like coworker.org, there's a real enormous opportunity to scale our ability to get the word out. And with employers, what we found was a lot of employers wanted to do the right thing, and it just wasn't clear what that was. There were no standards, no guidelines. Many parts of the economy are like a Wild West, where there aren't clear standards and guidelines. And so one of the things we all need to do is actually promote good standards, really be clear about what those are, which is part of what the Good Work Code is about. And then spread the word among our networks, leverage platforms like this one to talk about opportunities to work together and come together to move forward. In the work with domestic workers, we actually found a lot of employers did support. Their caregivers and their nannies are part of the backbone of how their households function every day. It's the work that makes all of their work possible. And we also found that legislators taking action, passing a domestic worker bill of rights, and really supporting legislation that makes clear what the standards are and should be, that this is real work that deserves dignity like all work, right? That sent a really important message to everyone, employers, families, and workers alike. So I think it's a all hands on deck situation where we need consumers, we need families, we need legislators to take action, to set standards. We need all of us to help enforce those standards and really carry out the kind of culture change that will support worker voice in the 21st century.
Well, I am persuaded. So you're doing great work. Michelle, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to hijack the format here just for a second, because I want to have a follow-up that I think is particularly relevant to this group. And this is an undercurrent as we were organizing this. I am a big believer, as you heard me say at the opening, of collective bargaining and unions as a tool to empower workers. And I think that the work that you just described in terms of good conduct is something that is profoundly needed, but then I'm interested in how do we prevent that from being a watered down version of the protections and rights that a union provides. And so since Mary Kay is sitting right here, and SEIU not only organizes similar cohorts, but also has been really supportive of creative partnerships, even with folks who are non-union. I thought it'd be a great time for maybe Mary Kay just to talk about how we should think about supporting traditional union efforts and strengthening laws where we can, and at the same time reaching into these new areas where, you know, for whatever reason, because of geography, because of industry, we may not right away be able to get a collective bargaining unit, but we don't want those folks to feel as if they're not being served at all and nobody's hearing them. So why don't you
Thank you
tell us
so
about that?
much, Mr. President.